to change Caster over to streaming, so we're not actually streaming.
Oh no. Is the
So
audio actually playing now?
nope, nope, like it wasn't toggling at all. Now it is. So
Okay.
people are wondering why I'm talking about stuff right away. And the reason is I screwed up. I got talking to Lewis because I haven't seen him in quite a while, and well, that's the way it goes. So let's start this over again. And since we've got so few topics, that works out, as it turns out. This was not deliberately to stretch this show. Trust me. Anyway, welcome once again, folks, to Nerd Week Live, the show in which we talk about nerd news topics that have dropped since our last show last Tuesday. And I am Rodney Brown. I'm the editor in chief of Nerd Caliber, first person shooter on Facebook as a cosplay photographer, Burley _ adopter on Twitter, as a bunch of other things, generally a tech journalist. Joining me tonight after a long hiatus, welcome back, Lewis, and introduce yourself, please.
Hey guys, it's always good to be back when I have time. You know, sometimes with the work and everything, the pendulum swings in both ways. So, but I did have some availability tonight, which is great. And I always love being on the show with Rodney and the others, chatting away. But if you've forgotten who I am, name's Luis Correa. I'm also known as Crash the Stampede on Twitch. If you want to check it out, I'm a co-producer with Nerd Caliber. Now, we're hoping to have a great year here at Nerd Caliber in 2022. Lord knows the last year was an absolute fucking disaster. But, who knows? We got some news for you here that we're going to come up with in a little bit. That might dampen that a little bit, but, fingers crossed.
I was going to say, great foreshadowing for our first topic. Mima Lee, welcome back to the show. There on the YouTubes, and all right, that's where we're at right now. So before we actually do get into our topic, if you have a Twitch account, we would love to have you visit that URL, twitch.tv/nerdcaliber, and consider following us. We're trying to build up our followers on Twitch to be something like what we've got on YouTube, which is absolutely wonderful, and we love all of our YouTube followers. But twitch.tv/nerdcaliber. Check it out if you do have a Twitch account, and please consider following us.
Right on.
Right on. So let's start with that news that Lewis was teasing. This is an image that I took at the last Aresia convention, Aresia 2020. And yes, 2020, just before everybody knew about what was about to drop. This is, of course, some wonderful cosplayers doing belters from The Expanse, including on the left there, Sopoke cosplay, Sopoke _ cosplay on Instagram, as Kamina Drummer, who in this season is even more amazing. Anyway, Lewis knows I could go on about The Expanse, and this isn't about The Expanse, it's about Aresia. Aresia was supposed to take place in 2 weekends, and they just announced that because of Omicron, they have canceled the show.
Ooh.
I'm disappointed. I love Aresia. It's a local con here in Boston that is super nerdy, very much about science fiction and fantasy literature and movies and so on. It's not a typical Comic-Con. It's not a typical anime con. It's very cool if you're into that sort of stuff. And we were, we had our press passes and we were all ready to go. Although I was thinking about whether or not I even wanted to now that Omicron is as bad as it is. And they decided to make it a moot point.
Yeah. It was interesting because I haven't been to Aresia in a while, and then all that bad news dropped a while back about what was going on. Something that we're not going to go into for whatever reason. Don't need to, but regardless of which, I was looking toward that redemption arc, like in the animes and stuff like that. See how it pops, and also conversely, a lot of good friends that I met who don't necessarily enjoy anime cosplaying go to that convention. So I was looking forward to seeing them as well. But with Omicron popping up the way it is, and this whole like COVID influenza kind of thing that's in the background of things nowadays. I think it's a good idea to just kind of taper it back a little bit, especially if refresh my memory, but it's still hosted in the same location, or did they move it?
No, it's still in the Westin. And so when they canceled 2021, that was a problem for them. No, I'm sorry. When they moved a few years ago, they moved to a different hotel because there was a strike against the Westin, which is where it is in the
Yeah.
Seaport
And
District.
that was that unfortunate timing.
Yeah, and they basically screwed up their own contract and essentially had to, through arbitration, pay the Westin and another hotel even for a late cancellation. Um, this year, whether or not it's because the Westin is back in their good graces or they're back in the Westin's good graces or they did it in time or whatever, the Westin has just taken their contract from 2022 and 2023 and moved them forward a year. No penalties, nothing. So they are locked in for 2023 and 2024 now. And that's great for them. I was really worried about, they took a big financial hit when they had to make that settlement.
Yeah.
And they have, and they did, obviously 2020 was a rebuilding year, because of all of that controversy and even some controversy before that. Um, and I don't know whether it was a big enough rebuilding year for them to really build up their coffers. It's a volunteer run organization, like a lot of the more fun conventions are. Um, but yeah, apparently, they don't have to worry about that financial hit anymore. Um, and that's really
Good.
good news.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, push it a year forward, but I mean, they'll be at a better if they play their cards right in terms of personnel and everything. They'll be in a better standing, a much better standing.
Absolutely. Um, so, and one of the things they were struggling hard. I remember seeing the promos from various friends who are on staff, actually at committee level staff, but also I follow Arisha and different social media. They've been pushing out calls for volunteers like crazy. Um, and as is Anime Boston, I am once again, if it happens, the photography department manager, which I was supposed to be in 2020. So I've had this job for 3 years and I've never done it. Um, for Anime Boston 2022, and all departments at AB 22 or 2022 are still having a hard time filling roles. So, um, you know,
Yeah, I believe it. It's funny though. I've heard you say, well, for some reason it just escaped me just now, but uh, you have a tendency of saying the same thing that Bernie Sanders says. I'm asking you once again, and I'm like, why have I never photoshopped Rodney onto one of that for his Anime Boston thing? I'm
I
once again asking for
once
photographers.
again asking. I have actually used Bernie Sanders that picture for something like that. I think, and in fact, it may have been an AB plug. Um, yeah. So, folks, expect. Look, I don't know this for sure. I would say you should expect further cancellations for cons in the next couple of months, anyway. You know, there's maybe good news. South Africa has said that their epidemic level of the Omicron variant basically ran its course in 2 months. So maybe by the end of February, early March, it won't be the thing that it is right now. Um, but this is also the United States, and
We love our individualism.
yeah, vaccination rates in certain areas are not high.
My home city is like astronomical right now.
Really.
Like in terms of people not vaccinated
Ugh,
and like catching Omicron. It
yep.
is crazy. And then when I work in this damn city.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not good. Um, but anyway, folks. So we'll keep an eye on this as things happen. If they happen within a week, we'll bring it up on the next week just to let you know. But if you're planning on going to a con in the next couple of months, I would advise you keep your eyes out, keep your eyes peeled for announcements that are probably going to drop. Um, anyway, moving on to speaking of anime, as we were. This is, I think, a cover image. It might be an internal image of from the manga MS Ghost, which is the sequel manga to the very popular Initial D, which is all about drifting and racing, and which created or spun off a hugely popular anime.
And
and
video
the
games.
and
Yeah.
video games and all sorts of stuff. The news is that MS Ghost is getting its own anime adaptation coming in 2023.
Bro, I feel like I'm like in my 1920s again with the original Initial D. Everyone and their mother used to watch Initial. It was a Great Teacher Onizuka and Initial D. Those are the ones everybody talked about. And Initial D was one of those animes where it literally was just like some regular dudes doing regular cool ass shit. No robots, no magical girls, none of that, man. Just
Yep.
and it was all like based on some level of realism, especially with the vehicles.
All the cars were real. They were all, or based on real cars. They were all the kind of thing. You could go out and get a WRX. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I'm a hot take this real quick, and I know the audience will probably hate it, but Initial D had to be drawn so Fast and Furious can drive.
honestly, that's true. And frankly, that's why Fast and Furious 2, Tokyo Drift existed because of Initial D.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Now, frankly, I haven't seen more than a couple of episodes of any of the initial seasons, of the OG seasons of Initial D. I'm an animation snob. I really hate that '90s look. For the most part, unless it's something like a Cowboy Bebop or something like that, which doesn't really have that '90s look. And so I haven't watched it. I will watch this because I know it's going to be done in a more modern style, just because the manga style is different. So, so 2023, folks. It doesn't say when, of course, but the fact that they even announced that it will be in 2023 is pretty impressive.
yeah, yeah. Got to get that hype up.
Yep. Not
I'm,
like,
I'm,
I mean, all you got to do is mention Initial D sequel, and everybody's like, ah.
yeah, yeah. Can you imagine? Because I grew up, when I was young, very young, I was a tuner.
Yep.
I dragged an '86 Monte Carlo SS with a 350. I had a beast that I rocked. Back in those I'm not gonna die days, but and Initial D. If Initial D does a comeback and this brings back the old heads, the old tuner heads, and things like that, I can definitely see a lot of like rally shows popping up even better with COVID because everybody can just sit in their damn cars.
Wow. I, a Monty SS. That's a great because it's a sleeper car.
Yeah,
That kind of looks like it's like, oh, that nice lady with her son driving, and then you drop the pedal and it's
I
frightening.
went I went from a 305 to a 350, small block to big block.
Oof.
It was powerful, but let me tell you, driving from Brimfield to Springfield to say Chicopee was a whole tank of gas, like that,
Oh,
like that.
my first car was a Ford Gran Torino station wagon that had the 460 barrel in it. Because it's a station wagon, it's pretty light. There's just a lot
Yeah,
of empty space. I could pass Mustangs going uphill, but yeah, the gas. It's like you were pouring the gas on the ground. Just
yeah, absolutely. It was just throwing buckets away.
Luminous, welcome to the show. And you're right, it is great to see Lewis once again. We
Hey,
all agree.
Luminous.
All right, so that's Initial D sequel, MS Ghost, or MF Ghost, MS Ghost. Yes, Microsoft Paint Ghost. No.
Honestly, every time I look at MF over here in the little list I made, I'm always like, why would they use like such a swear? And I'm like, no, you just keep inserting a swear in there. That's
Exactly.
that MF is not what you think it is.
This is not the Samuel L. Jackson anime. Um, as soon as I saw it, it was what they're making an anime about MF Doom. Like, wow. Oh no, no, that's not what this is about. That would be pretty impressive too. Um, anyway, moving on to our next topic. How are we stretching it out? Yeah, we might actually make this to a full half hour.
And the way we talk, I don't see why not.
Well, yeah, that's true. All right, folks, you've probably seen it if you're at all into any kind of gadgets, gear, whatever. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, is happening this week. A whole bunch of keynotes already happened today. And you could watch them live on YouTube because none of them are happening in any of the halls in Las Vegas. This isn't particularly surprising news, but Omicron did it to CES as well. almost every large tech company backed out of CES this year as far as a live presence on the show floor. Amazon, Google, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram. And anyway,
I'm never gonna call it that. I don't give a shit.
yeah.
I'm never gonna call it that.
TikTok, all sorts of them. Intel said all pulled out of any big on floor presence. Um, and the CES at this point, yeah, and all of this was announced like a week ago. There was no way CES could have canceled at this point. So they did the best they could. The AMD, Nvidia, Intel, they all had their Samsung, they all had their keynotes already, and they were all done on a stage with nobody in the audience. Um,
Ooh.
it actually worked out better than I thought, because it was mostly just a straightforward and fast presentation. They weren't playing to the audience, which is not the strong suit of any of these tech marketing people.
No, I mean I agree, but also like it's kind of fun sometimes to see tech people try to sound cool and like try to be engaging. It's like you crawled out of the basement one time out of the year, and this is how you're gonna use jargon and lingo from like the 1990s and maybe name drop hackers 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, like they bring out, and here's the head of our automated driving AI software unit, blah, 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 blah. And the guy comes out like, thanks, Bill.
I'm
Um,
so pale. The light is hitting me, and I'm the beacon of Gondor now.
the beacons are lit. Um, Now, some of the stuff that has come out, AMD has a bunch of new products coming out. New CPU, new graphics card.
Yeah,
Um, Nvidia has a new graphics. Well, yeah, I mean the 50 series of the 3000 series. So they are bringing out a budget
yeah.
3000 card. Um,
When will we see this budget? When it goes to retail? Never.
Never. Yeah, because even a budget card is still going to be picked up by the crypto miners. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, but AMD also decided that this was just the right time to drop this news because there's not going to be another event for months that anybody's going to go to. They showed off the upcoming 7000 series CPUs, um, and announced that they will be coming out this year, later this year, along with a new socket for the motherboard. I think they're calling it AM5, um, which will have PCI Gen 5 support, which I don't even know if there are any devices on the market yet that will do Gen 5.
That I'm aware of now.
Yeah, DDR5 RAM, which is on the market, not that you can buy it.
Brother, don't even get me fucking started there.
Hey, I don't. My motherboard, which was really top of the line a year and a half ago, does not support DDR5, so I don't have to worry about that.
I have a motherboard and a CPU literally in the living room right now in a goddamn box that does support DDR5, and I can't find a fucking stick to wipe my ass, let alone plug into that thing. So I'm gonna have to use my DDR4, which it is compatible with this particular motherboard. The DDR4 until I can maybe in a year luck out with some DDR5. And don't even get me started on upgrading my 2060 to like a 3080 because I'm going to be 50 before I see those.
Yeah, yeah. I've got an AMD 5700 series, which is, I guess, the equivalent of the 20s. Um, but like the very early entry, actually, it's probably more like a 1650. That sort of bridge in between the 10 series and the 20 series.
Yeah.
And it's fine by me. Would I love to have a 3000 series or the new, AMD 6500? Sure. Not going to happen. Um,
Yeah.
Damn you, crypto miners. But yeah, so folks, again, this was not a nerd con. Well, I guess it is. It was a tech convention, consumer products convention. Again, if you have anything like that in your plans for the next couple of months, really pay close attention as to whether or not, one, it'll even happen, and two, whether or not people will be allowed in, and it goes essentially virtual, which is really what CES was. It will, or is. It's ongoing, pretty
Yeah.
much just virtual. Um,
And I wouldn't mind Luminous. I wouldn't mind checking out the old LED TV as well. I actually the new tablet that I bought, the newer version of that tablet has an OLED screen on it, and I was this close to buying it, but then my pocket was like, "No, bueno, por favor, no more,
Do not do.
please."
If you get a chance, Luminous, check out any of the YouTube reviews because they've already dropped of the new Samsung QOLED using quantum dot technology, and it's now, of course, it's brand new, so it's going to be expensive as hell, but it looks really amazing. The nature of the way they change how the brightness works because of the quantum dot technology of the OLED is really revolutionary. So I know Linus Tech Tips has one up. I believe Dave D2. I can't remember what his name is. There's a bunch of them out there. So if you just search Samsung QOLED, you'll find some of the reviews. Again, not that you want to pony up that kind of money, but
Luminous might be rolling in dough. Who knows?
could happen. It could be the
Big
case.
baller.
I'm not making any assumptions, Luminous. If you've got the cash, go spend it. Um, again, it's looking like early 2020. It's not like you're going to be going anywhere with that cash for a while.
Yeah, right.
All right, next topic, folks. This kills me. That is, of course, Jared Leto from the upcoming maybe movie Morbius. And the news is now, for the sixth time, Morbius has had its date of release pushed back. And I'm not making this up. This isn't a lie. It's going to, in theory, hit theaters on April Fool's Day, April 1st, 2022.
I mean, the only thing that annoys me about it getting pushed back is all my excuses to not seeing now have to be reiterated again.
Exactly. It's like, oh no, I can't go because April Fool's Day is my birthday, or yeah, it's just. I've seen it take this. I love this on Twitter. Somebody actually, is putting out the conspiracy theory that this movie doesn't actually exist. That they keep announcing it so that they can hold on to the intellectual property and just keep moving it down the road, and it will never actually be shown.
That's excessive.
It's
That's excessive.
I would say that's probably not true, but it's a funny thing to think about. Um,
What's funny is Jared Leto being a method to be a vampire, a living vampire. So just running around London or wherever the hell, trying to suck on people and being a total dickbag like normal life.
I don't know where this is set. I can't remember. In the comics, it's set on Long Island, basically. I think kind of out at the rich Tony end of Long Island.
Probably, yeah, probably. But you know what, man? The minute, honestly, you lost me, not you specifically, but the movie lost me. The fact that you guys started abusing blue and green tint, you lost me. I'm done. If people who've been a part of the show enough have heard me rant about this shit for days, and this movie is another example of it.
Kind of has a little bit of a Snyder look to it, doesn't it?
Why would you use slurs in this stream?
I apologize for that slur. Well, I'm not sure if I can actually slur Morbius. We'll have to see when it comes out, assuming we actually see when it comes out, if it comes out.
The only way this movie will make money is if all the cult people Jared Leto has been getting together on his magical island come and do all the production for free.
I don't
Pull the
know.
Scientology route.
Spider-Man IP sells. Venom: Let There Be Carnage sold despite pretty terrible reviews.
Yeah, I mean you're pretty right. Marvel movies sell,
Yeah,
even though being derivative.
yeah. Well, Marvel movies do as well, but particularly Spider-Man. I mean,
Yeah,
I think No Way Home set a record for how quickly it hit 1 billion. I'll have to go back and look at that, but I think that's the case.
yeah.
Um,
I agree. I think so.
Certainly within the last 3 years. So yeah, people just love that Spider-Man stuff. And Morbius is a Spider-Man connected character. We've already seen that there are other Spider-Man universe people in it. Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton from the original Homecoming, has already been shown in the trailers. He's going to be in it. So
I'll watch. Honestly, I'll watch anything with Michael Keaton.
yeah,
Anything.
even if
The
he's
man
just,
is just, yeah. Nope. Go ahead.
I was just say, even if he's just in a scene where the two of them happen to walk by each other in a prison, which is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just anything. The man is just, for me, he can't do anything wrong.
Yep. And for those of you who weren't watching last week, and I know Lewis wasn't on here, we had the news last week that he has been cast, according to Deadline and their sources, so single source, but Deadline is almost always right about these things, as Batman in the Batgirl movie.
Oh yeah.
So, score, or a Batman at least, you know, because they also have J.K. Simmons as Gordon, who is Gordon in the Snyderverse. So in the Snyderverse, Batman is Ben Affleck. So I don't know.
Who knows if it's like a kind of like Batman Beyond and Michael Keaton is old Bruce, and then there's a young Batman.
That would be cool.
Down, yeah.
Um, I don't know if the age works right. J.K. Simmons Gordon is pretty old, which means that Barbara would be in her 20s, maybe even 30s. Um, so,
Well, yeah, yeah, maybe, but they fudge numbers all the time. So
well, that's true. And it's Warner Brothers, so
yeah,
logic, forget that. Um, yeah, so anyway, April 1st, 2022, folks, if you want to see it, there you go. That's your April Fool's. Tell a whole bunch of people you bought tickets for it, and they show up and there are none. April Fools.
that's when you be like, hey, this is a great movie, April Fools.
Yeah, there you go. All the critics are going to be saying this was amazing, April Fools. I can see the
Yeah.
headlines now. Um, anyway, now we're on to our last topic. And that was the teaser for the event creation and so on. And the reason I didn't use this next topic as the teaser is because I didn't know about it. And this actually dropped before our last show on the 22nd of December. I have missed this for almost 2 straight weeks. They dropped a teaser for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, like a full teaser. And one of the things, and the reason I did this because I saw this image and went, what? Hasbro already has a design for apparently one of the many Doctor Stranges that will be showing up in this movie. And this particular design on the box that comes with this is called Defender Strange. The design is very similar to a more superhero-y looking costume that he had in, I think, the last time, which was when he was in the New Avengers, where he lost the title of Sorcerer Supreme and then ultimately gained it back, and that's when his costume changed to something like that. So it is from, or certainly inspired by, one of the many costumes he's worn over the years. He hasn't always been in the blue tunic, and I was really impressed. But I'm also, so the teaser apparently contains in it the second or the end credit scene in No Way Home. So it's out as a teaser trailer. So the trailer has a lot more stuff. It's longer than that, just short end credit scene. So I guess it's not a spoiler for that end credit scene because it's now in a released teaser trailer. That there will be other Doctor Stranges appearing in this which makes sense, multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
Um,
Hasbro also has a tendency of spoiling things with their toys because they do like premieres and stuff like that right before a movie's going to come out, or maybe a couple months. Usually 6 months to a year, they'll do a presentation of concepts of toys that they're going to release to match movies,
yeah.
and they're always spoilers, always 110% spoilers.
Now I have to say, Marvel's pretty good about keeping them under wraps until something has come out about it. Like, at the same time, this particular toy dropped. The new look for Mordo, who is in the trailer, drops. and Chiwetel Ejiofor has dreads. And it looks really cool. It's a great design. His costume is still very similar to what Mordo had at the end of the original Doctor Strange, but it's it's like, oh, cool. And if you look at the
I also
toy,
think it's a dependent on toy shows too, because I
yeah,
know for Grogu, for example, like that was spoiled purely because they had a toy show that they were showing off the prototype figure for Grogu.
yep,
And it was like they always do that. They all every time there's a movie and they have a toy show or something like that, they always you can always tell for certain something is gonna be spoiled. Not specifically the main plot, but some character or something you're gonna see there. All you gotta do is walk around enough with a camera and you'll catch something.
yeah. Now, like this particular look was not in that trailer. So this is a spoiler in that sense. We didn't know for sure that this particular design, and who knows, it might not be. If you look at some of the early designs before Doctor Strange came out of the Doctor Strange movie toys, his costume is much more like the comic book costume in some of those Hasbro toys than in the movie, but it's clearly Benedict Cumberbatch. So, you know, even then, this may not be 100% accurate. But it is accurate that there will be multiversal variations. And also, the Scarlet Witch has a different costume in this trailer, minorly.
Yeah.
Um, but, a little bit more like some of her other, full sleeve covering costumes from the comic book. Um, So yeah, I would recommend checking it out. Yes, it's going to reveal that one. Near the very end of the trailer, reveals that one little, 15 or 20-second blurb that was in the end credits of No Way Home. So if you really don't want to have that spoiled for you, don't watch the teaser. But the teaser looks really good.
Right.
Um, oh, and apparently in the teaser, it is 100% clear that Shuma Gorath is at least one of the things that has to be dealt with. It looks exactly like the version in the comic books with a giant eye in the middle and everything. Uh, but they apparently had to change the name because Shuma Gorath was taken from Conan, which Marvel had the rights to at the time when it was put into Doctor Strange.
Right.
Marvel doesn't have the rights to Conan, or at least that aspect of Conan at this
Who
time, and so
who
they've. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
who bought it out? It was
I think Dynamite is doing Conan right now. Oh no,
somebody,
you're
but
right. It was
because I know the
yes,
developers of Conan Exiles, which I love playing every single day, mentioned in a blog that they had purchased the rights to it, or they have all the rights to Conan now.
yes, yep. The parent company, or one of there's so many different levels in there, but yes, they bought the rights to Conan.
Yeah,
Good point. I forgot about that.
Funcom's parent company. Look that up
Um,
because that's who makes Conan Exiles.
yeah. Ultimately, it is. We had this on the news the other day. Because they bought two other game development studio owner entities in the last couple of weeks. They're out of Sweden. Anyway, can't remember the name. Um, it has, and it's one of those names that has nothing to do with games. You wouldn't associate it with. Marshall Lewis, welcome to the show. You're watching just in time to watch us wrap up our very last topic because it's been a quiet week. So we don't have a whole lot of things to talk about.
It actually is Funcom. It
Well,
says Funcom has acquired control of Conan the Barbarian and other popular culture intellectual properties with its acquisition of Cabinet Group.
yes.
Cabinet Group was formerly known as Paradox Entertainment. Yada 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 yada.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, which is good. But anyway, so they had to change the name of Shumogorath in the upcoming movie to Gargantos or something like that. It's a really awful name.
I could have thought of something better than that.
I know. I know. Um, Even if, you make it, something else, like that sounds kind of like Shumogorath. You know,
Listen, all Marvel got to do, it doesn't take that. It's not as complicated as that. Just get kind of drunk and then slur a couple words, and there you go. You have your monster's name. That's it. Because that Shumagarath sounds like me after I'm trying to pronounce someone's name after like 5 shots.
yeah, you know that movie with
Uh,
Suna
what,
Leograth or
what
whatever
was
his
that
name is?
movie? She was the giraffe. Shumagarath. That's it. Bam. Got it.
Done. Write it down.
Got
Um,
it. Mad Libs.
oh yeah, or just get the magnet stuff on the fridge and just until you come up with some names. Um, yeah, Gargantos is just terrible. So anyway, um, check out the teaser if you want to. It's got some really good stuff in it. It does give away the fact that there will be multiple Doctor Stranges. But any other details about, because they do show one of them that you kind of go, oh wow, that's it. I'll let you watch it if you want or don't if you don't. So no further spoilers out of me. And that's it, folks. That's all of the topics we have for tonight. Lewis, do you have a could we please or could we not?
Um,
No,
Not,
yeah,
I
no,
can't
no,
really think of anything outside of the usual Omnicron mask.
yeah,
At least wash your hands.
yeah. The important thing is now, if you can get it, and I ordered them from Amazon just today. They'll be here at the end of the week. Get the N95 masks. They're available. They're cheap, and they are way more effective than cloth masks. That is one of the things that has absolutely been shown coming out of this Omicron variant. Omicron is so infectious that cloth masks aren't nearly as good as N95s, and N95s are now available. They are no longer being hoarded. So
Absolutely.
if you can get those, assuming you're going out anywhere, um, stay safe. Get your booster if you haven't. You know, um, the people who are getting in the hospitals and dying are those people who are not vaccinated and do not have boosters for the most shot, or for the most part, shot.
Absolutely. At the very least, practice hygiene. Wash your hands. I'm not going to preach to you about what you should and shouldn't do, but honestly, even before COVID, you should have been washing your goddamn hands to begin with.
That's true. Although, once again, that has been proven that transmission across surfaces is not really that big a problem versus not having a face mask and not being vaccinated.
That is, while that is very true, there are other things that you can catch by being shaking hands and touching doorknobs and things like that. So again, hygiene. I'm not going to
Colds,
preach to you about COVID, but
cold,
hygiene in general.
colds are still a thing. Flus are still a thing. Yep, 100%.
For your healthcare workers that go into your home, not going to name anyone specifically, would very much appreciate that.
Yes. So that's it, folks. We will see you in an upcoming show. If you want to, while we're giving out promos here, please go to patreon.com/nerdcaliber. That URL, it's on your screen right now. We would love to have you as a patron if you do decide to go there. We have 3 tiers. The lowest is just $2, and all that money helps us, assuming cons happen, go to more cons, get you more content for YouTube, for the various other places we stream, as well as articles and photo galleries on the website nerdcaliber.com and so on. And with that, Thursday, 2 days from now, Full Fat Spoiler Chat is Wheel of Time. So if you've seen Wheel of Time or you don't mind spoilers, please join us and help us talk about this adaptation of the enormous, or the first season anyway, of the enormous Robert Jordan and then ultimately Brandon Sanderson completed book series, fantastic high fantasy series called Wheel of Time. We'll see you then, or we'll see you at another upcoming show. Lewis, give us a goodbye.
Once again, it's always wonderful to be here on the show with Rodney and whoever else shows up. And it's fantastic to have this type of engagement. And I really love being out here having these conversations that you can participate in, you as in the audience can participate in and go back and forth with us on. It's fantastic. And I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. So once again, it's Crash the Stampede on Twitch. and I'm a co-producer with Nerd Caliber. So check out some of our photos on the site and some of our interviews on our YouTube channel.
Absolutely, folks. We'll see you at an upcoming show. Stay safe. Good night. Bye bye.